Most Americans remember D-Day for one small corner of it, the disastrous initial landing on Omaha Beach, the Saving Private Ryan moment, you might call it. But while Omaha was a horrible fight, focusing on it can distort the true situation in Normandy on June 6th. This is World War II in 2. The Duke of Wellington once famously said that in war, it's impossible to know what's on the other side of the hill. In other words, you have a good idea of your own resources and you plan accordingly. But you never know with certainty what your enemy has, or where he has it, or what he intends to do with it. And never was that truer than it was of the D-Day landings. For the Germans, D-Day was an ordeal of being outnumbered in men, machines, and supplies. The Allies brought overwhelming military power to bear on a level the Germans couldn't hope to match. Pick any number you'd like. The Allies had 7,000 ships at sea. The Germans, just 31 light torpedo boats. In the air, the Allies deployed over 8,000 aircraft. The Germans, just 160. Manpower? There were 1.5 million U.S. troops in Great Britain. Adding British and Allied troops, let's call it 2.5 million. The Germans barely had 1 million, stretched out over 1,000 miles of coastline. Quality tells a similar tale. A big chunk of this supposedly German manpower wasn't German at all. It consisted of Osttruppen, or Eastern troops, units formed from Soviet POWs or volunteers from the occupied nations. But how much did these troops believe in the cause? The mental state of most Eastern troops was probably bewilderment, wondering what the heck they were doing in France. Beyond that, half the German units in France were so-called static divisions. They had no transport, no trucks, meaning they couldn't maneuver in battle. Their job? To shoot at whatever landed in front of them, and then die in place, which is exactly what happened to nearly all of them. Static divisions were meat against the fully motorized force the Allies were landing. By June 1944, the Germans knew they were fighting what they called a poor man's war. Their commanders knew it. Perhaps somewhere in his fevered brain, Hitler even knew it. Outside of a major storm blowing up at the last second, it's hard to imagine the D-Day landings failing. And that's the view from the other side of the hill.